Welcome to part 3. If you haven't seen parts 1 and 2, I recommend that you hit the images, but this one is going to deal with drawing the portrait of Amare Stoudemire to be connected with the body. You're going to see me use a blending stump and a paintbrush. If you don't have that, you could use a Q-tip or your fingers, although as I said in part 2, that's not the ideal. I'm starting out with the darkest part, which is usually the eyes, and that's definitely the case with Amare, and the eyebrows as well. And in one of the steps from the step-by-step, we actually dealt with the pupil and iris and the reflection. So, we're jumping right in. We're creating that shadow below the eyebrows, and we're going right in with the hair. That's a graphite stick that you're seeing me use right now. It's a really handy tool for the larger areas of shading. It gets it done a lot faster. I would have still been hatching if I was using a pencil. You also saw me bring in the paintbrush. Basically, my process, as many of you have seen many times, hatch and then smudge, hatch again, sometimes take away with the eraser, and just observe. I'm still looking at my reference image. As I work on this, you should look at mine, and you should pause it at different points, and that can be your reference image. The ear, the inner part of the ear is not going to be as dark as the eyebrows, the hair, the eyes, the nostrils, the corners of the mouth. Those are the darkest parts of the face. The face is going to get a little bit darker as it goes further down. Most light comes from above. This picture was not an exception to that. His facial hair is also going to be pretty dark. But you can start to see the differentiation between the bottom of the face and the top of the face. This is especially true in males as well because of facial hair. Even if he doesn't have a beard, but even if a person doesn't have a beard, they have the stubble, and that darkens and combines with what I said about the light coming from above usually. So the upper part of the head is going to be a little bit lighter in most cases, of course, depending upon the conditions around. Be careful with the teeth. You want to give like a little bit of darker tone to it so that you can put highlights on it with the eraser, but you don't want to go too dark. I think that I focused a little bit too much on the upper half. I would recommend, for any aspiring portrait artists out there, move around more so than I did. Occasionally I give a bad example to people, but I always point myself out when I do. You want to make sure that you develop it evenly, almost like a Polaroid picture. For those of you who remember Polaroids, they're the photographs that come out of the camera, and you see it develop from the gray film to a complete image. If not YouTube, do a YouTube search for a Polaroid picture. I'm sure you could find one. But the reason I say that, the reason I'm saying so much about Polaroid, it's a great analogy for the drawing process. You want to develop it slowly and evenly. Every part is related. It's very much like a puzzle, and it gets more sharp as it goes on. Amare has very subtle highlights in this picture. There was lighting, but it wasn't as bright as I have it now. I'm going to push it down. And notice what I used to push it down. I used the paintbrush. You do not need a magic paintbrush for this. If you hit the link in the video description, you'll see my supply recommendations. I just use a regular brush for it. But you could even use a Home Depot paintbrush. It doesn't have to be anything special. you might need to use special graphite, like within drawing pencils. You see, here's the difference between drawing pencils and regular pencils. There's a little bit more clay added to it so that it sticks to the page a little bit better. It's a little bit more liquidy than an average pencil. And when you move it around with the brush, I've noticed a few comments, and they're like, okay, how do you... I'm having problems shading with the brush. It's a combination of the paper and the... that you do have to get a little bit more sophisticated with. The paper and the pencil. You don't want to use... well, ideally, you don't want to use printer paper, because it's totally flat. It has no tooth. Drawing paper has a little bit more tooth. It'll do it justice more. But in terms of the brush, doesn't bother me. Well, that's happening fast. Yeah, use the link in the video description, and make sure that you look at every reference image that I leave there. This one kind of happened fast. I hope that this helped. If not, ask questions, and maybe I broke my promise. No, I'm just kidding. That should be plenty of information. Anyway, I hope that this helped. Leave me comments. Ask me questions. Check out the other tutorials that I have on my channel. I hope that this helped you. I hope you made a great drawing. Thanks for watching.